I'm back with another log reveal. This one is a little white oak branch that I snagged from a brush pile. It will be just big enough to make a couple spoons or some strips for a cutting board or some kind of other small product. I really like saving chunks like this because they often have some beautiful grain just like bigger pieces, but they're abundant. You can find them everywhere. And truthfully, there are very few scenarios where anyone is going to save a piece like this because a lot of work goes into saving it. You can see there that the leaves have those rounded lobes, and that's how I knew this was a white oak, as well as I could still see the color from the initial cuts, and it just looks like white oak. So I start this process off at the joiner, and the first pass I take is very careful because the piece is far from flat initially, so it rolls around a lot. Once I establish a flat surface, it's much easier to run the subsequent passes on that flat surface. I recommend you exercise a lot of caution if you're going to do this. I have a lot of experience and I'm comfortable running the joiner, and I know how it might fail. If you're not comfortable with this, you could definitely take some time and clamp this piece to a workbench. I also have an electric hand plane that I could use that would keep my hands further away from any spinning blades. You could also use just a normal hand plane and manually flatten it. Some people love to do that. So there are options to get this thing flat. Once I have a flat edge at the joiner, I go straight over to the bandsaw. Now, normally I would flatten two sides at the joiner, but on this piece, I wanted to preserve as much material as possible, and I wanted both of those limbs that shoot off in different directions. I wanted to save both of those. So I'm choosing not to flatten that second side and making a 90-degree angle. So in this case, again, it's a little dangerous at the bandsaw because the piece can rock. If you're not comfortable, you don't feel right about it, don't do it. Just like I said earlier, and get that 90-degree angle. I decided at the bandsaw to run these just a little over an inch thick. I did that because I would be able to get 3 usable pieces out of this, and it gives me a lot of room for this piece to move as it dries. I anticipate any piece that splits off like this and has a crotch section to move a lot while drying. It's just, it has a lot of tension inside of the wood, and you just have to count on that. So I'm giving it some room to move because to make utensils, I really only need about a 1/2 inch of thickness in the end. And if I'm lucky and the piece doesn't warp a lot, I may be able to get some thicker pieces out of it and use this for, something thicker, like a cutting board. But you have to play off of what the material gives you. You can see here there is some beautiful white oak color in this. I try to save all white oak and walnut chunks I can because they tend to be the best-selling products. People just like them. And along with the various spalted species. I did get a bit of crotch figure in here, which is always nice. That plays well into some of these small products. And in these small limbs, you get heart and sapwood in every piece, which is fun to include because it just gives you a lot of variation in color. As usual, I find pieces like this to be amazing to cut open. The first time I did this with a chunk of honey locust that the power company cut, my mind was blown at all the possibilities, and that's kind of what got me into chainsaw milling and also cutting up more of these small chunks of wood that are just easy to find. They're everywhere. I hope you consider cutting open some small pieces of wood and seeing what they hold, seeing if you can make some cool products out of them. There are tons of opportunities out there, so go do that and send me pictures. Thanks for watching.